This won't hurt, Mr. Smith.
Well, now you know why it didn't hurt a bit. This is a very special replica of a human hand, a hand that once guided the destiny of our country. It comes from the National Historical Wax Museum in Washington, D.C. A different kind of waxworks that brings lifelike figures of many famous and illustrious Americans right out of the pages of American history. Now, according to a letter from 7th grader Karen Benya of Parma, Ohio, many of the figures are seen in the historical settings that brought them immortality. And each face is a technically correct likeness based on the findings of a large research staff. All right, Karen, you asked for it, so let's pay a visit to this realistic world of wax and plastic. And, oh yes, let's return this hand to its rightful owner.
My name is George Washington. Over 175 years ago, I used to walk the grounds of Mount Vernon, contemplating the destiny of this struggling young nation. And on this portico, I would think out the many problems entrusted to the first president of the United States. But though my bones have turned to dust, my spirit and my likeness today lives on within the confines of this noble museum. My dear wife, Martha, and the perfect hostess sits close by, listening for the happy sound of children's laughter. And we have many neighbors. Captain John Smith earns his place in immortality through the good graces of the Indian princess Pocahontas. In a waxwork, time stands still, and so we all wait nervously for the blow that never comes. And here is a humble reminder that American history is not a story of perfection. A Salem witch, in truth, a harmless old woman, stands accused by a young victim of ignorance and prejudice, and yet the robes of justice stand idly by. If any hand is immortal, it is the hand of John Hancock as he signs the Declaration of Independence, and nowhere could I find a more distinguished group of ageless neighbors, all caught in a breathless moment by the magic of flesh-like vinyl plastic. Hancock, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, each man a great American. Not that I mean to neglect the fairer sex, for who indeed could forget the labor of love performed by Betsy Ross, undoubtedly the most famous seamstress in the world. But ah, my young friends, feel the fatal attraction of a famous duel. Alexander Hamilton here stands on the threshold of a tragic death. And for Aaron Burr ahead lies a bitter path of condemnation. But there's no stopping youth, even in the face of tragedy and civil strife. A compassionate General Grant is another who graces our illustrious community, along with General Robert E. Lee, here signing into history the surrender of the South of Appomattox. Many villains mark the pages of history, yet none stand out so sharply as John Wilkes Booth. Still, I must stand hopelessly by, second before he snuffs out the life of Abraham Lincoln, a man warmed by the love of his wife and his people. But I am happy, for look at the companionship I share, like Red Grange, Babe Ruth, Dolly Madison, Harriet Beecher Stowe, Clara Barton, George Washington Carver, Albert Einstein, Samuel Gompers, Rockefeller, Ford, John Marshall, Woodrow Wilson, Teddy Roosevelt, and many, many others. But now, before our sleepy gods awaken, I must return to my waxen world of immortality. If you are not convinced that each likeness is captured in rare detail, observe these two identical figures.
You asked for it.